One of the things piano players struggle with when they're starting out is playing everything in root position. This can sound quite basic, and it can be quite a hard thing to get out of. Last year I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival and I saw an amazing guitarist performing. His name was John Chalice, also known as Morph Music. I found his performance absolutely mesmerising and I couldn't tear myself away. And as I was watching, I was thinking to myself, he's thinking about harmony very differently to how piano players think about harmony. I was absolutely mesmerised watching him perform. It was incredible. The chords were moving to each other so freely, it was effortless. And I was thinking to myself, wouldn't it be amazing if we could play a little bit more like that as a keys player? So in this video, I'm going to break down how you can get a little bit more guitar into your keys playing. And if you're someone who is stuck in what I call the root position prison, then this video's for you. Let's dive in. Hello, welcome back to the Keys Coach YouTube channel. My name's Adam, and in this video, I'm going to show you a few strategies for how you can approach playing keys a little bit more like a guitarist. I think a really good place to start would be to actually just watch a bit of this video. It's incredible. Let's check it out. Now, obviously, he's doing so many incredible percussive things there, and he's also playing the guitar in a slightly strange way by having it on his lap. I'm not talking about that. Listen to the actual chords he's playing. It's so interesting what he's doing there, and I don't know if he's thinking of it like this, but how I hear it is that there's kind of two parts to what he's playing. There's the sound of the key, and then the sound of the bass note moving. Now, as piano players, we tend to think of chords as these kind of vertical things. It's like, now we're on this chord, now we're on this chord, now we're on this chord. And that can kind of get into our piano playing. I mean, I think that's where the whole root position thing comes from, because it's like E, now we're on A, now we're on B, and everything's like, I think I did that example in the last video, but it's something I feel really strongly about. What I think he's doing is thinking of the key as this big overarching thing, and then he's changing the bass note underneath. Let me show you what that looks like on piano. So in this particular tune, he's playing in the key of E. And what's running through all of that is the 1 and the 5. Now, I'm not talking about chords 1 and 5. I'm not talking about like E major and B major. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the 1 and the 5, the notes of 1 and 5, E and B. And that's just going through everything. Let me play the recording again and see if you can spot that. Can you hear that? It's there. So yeah, it's there over everything. I mean, I was kind of voicing it down there, but it's just the same notes. It doesn't matter where you voice it. So if those notes are kind of suspended, what's making it feel like the chords are changing and that the chords are moving and that the harmony's going somewhere? Well, it's the bass. Let me show you. So if I play this repeated pattern here, I'm just playing it with a little bit of rhythm. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to change the bass note underneath. Yeah, do you see that? It's kind of a different way of thinking, right? We're still kind of moving the chord. I mean, if I analyze what those chords are, right? That's an E. I mean, I guess that would be an E5. I haven't actually included the third on that. The third would be a G sharp, but I haven't included that. What's that chord? That's an A sus2. There's the 2 and there's the 5. We call that a sus2 chord. That would be like a kind of sus4. It doesn't have the 5th, which is an F sharp, but it's just got the 4th in there. I mean, we don't really need to think too much about what these chords actually are. Just call it E5 over E, or just E5, and then E5 over A, E5 over B, and E5 over C sharp. And we'll worry about what they actually are later. Have a listen. Now you might be thinking to yourself, that's getting really repetitive. I agree. So what you might want to do is you might want to start changing this up. Let me see if I can add in a sus2. So I'm going to add in an F sharp. That is a sus2 triad, E sus2. We've got the E, which is the 1, F sharp, which is the 2, and B, which is the 5. And I'm just going to take that shape, and I'm just going to find a little rhythm that I could play. Almost like a guitarist would fingerpick. Now you don't always have to keep that right hand pattern exactly the same all the way through. Let me show you. I can kind of start improvising a bit more with that once I've got the kind of rough idea of it down. So that might seem like I've got even more complex, but actually all I'm doing in my right hand is I'm improvising in the kind of key of E major. If we go back to our E major scale, I'm just finding little shapes that I really like. I like the sound of this kind of major 7 sound with this sound here. I like the sound of this with that major 7th again, and I like this. And I like that sus2 shape we looked at earlier. I'm just using the notes from the E major scale there. E, just a root in the 5th. A, like a C sharp. I guess that would be C sharp minor in the key of E. And then B. What I think this approach does is kind of create a new landscape. It's almost like a new terrain to explore. Often we think of chords so vertically. Now we're on this chord, now we're on this chord, now we're on this chord, now we're on this chord. And actually, I think we can all begin to think a little bit more like a guitarist and think, actually, what notes can I hang over that kind of create these kind of more, these chords that flow between each other so much more easily. Someone said to me once that the way they think of it, for example, in a band, is that the guitar plays the key and the piano plays the chords. And I think they're completely right, but I think it's also important to say that I don't think this is the way you should approach every single style of music. For example, if you were going to play a jazz standard, I wouldn't necessarily say this is the best approach. But if you want to play a song that's got a folk influence or like a pop song, I'd 100% go down this avenue because it's just going to make your chords flow so much better. By the way, if you want to go through all of the steps I've covered in this video, I've put together a free PDF lesson book, which you can download by clicking the link below. Go ahead and get it, it's completely free. So how can you take this even further? What I'd suggest is experimenting with the bass note, so the note in your left hand. So I'm going to go back to playing just a 1 and a 5, and I'm going to move down chromatically and see what works. Kind of. That's nice. This one doesn't work. Wouldn't go for that. Do you see that? You've got all of those different options with a few that just sort of don't quite work as well as others. Let me try and put something together that shows you all of those different sounds. That kind of gives you an idea of where you can take this. For me, this was a real game changer when I discovered this, a different way of thinking about harmony. So cool. Woo!
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is definitely something I'm thinking about so much when I'm playing at the moment, is how can I make my piano playing sound more like a guitar, because that's just incredible. I love also what he's doing with all the percussion and also playing it like in that kind of non-conventional way. I think it's so cool. It sounds like it's two people playing. It sounds like it's a guitarist and a percussionist playing. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much for watching this video. I do hope you got something out of it. It would mean a huge amount to me if you could like the video and subscribe to the channel. I want to grow this channel into an amazing community of keys players and musicians. So drop a comment below and let me know what would you like me to teach you. And it's more than likely I'll make a tutorial on it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.